Hey Snowboard Addiction, Taevis here, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do the perfect backside 360. And in the process, you'll be learning all the fundamentals needed for every future backside spin. So if your goal is your first 360, your first 900, or you're just trying to understand backside spinning on a more fundamental level, this video will be absolutely great for you. The first place to start with any backside spin is with finding your stacked position. Being stacked is a term we use a lot in snowboarding, and it's referring to this: having a slight bend in your legs, your body aligned, a straight back, and a powerful knee position. Not having your knees come in, bowie out, keeping this strong and firm. This stacked position is the base for every snowboard trick. We'll be tweaking it a little bit for our windups for spins, but this is what we want to come back to after our snaps and for our landings on every single trick. Most people can do a backside 360 off flat ground, no training needed, but you need to be able to do it in a very specific way for it to translate to snowboarding. So that's what we're going to go over here, starting with the windup. The ideal backside windup has a straight back, slight bend in the legs, open hips towards the end of the takeoff, while keeping your back knee straight, letting your arms open up while keeping the straight, stacked, strong posture. The better you get at this motion, the more you'll be able to increase the range of motion used, increasing the power that you can use off the lip. Backside 360s don't take very much power, so you're not going to need to go and make this motion very exaggerated, but you want to train it and get the fundamentals of having the straight back and having the wind up without compromising bending forward or leaning back. Awesome tip that pro snowboarder Darcy Sharp gave me is use your glutes for this. It's really hard to break out the waist if you tighten your glutes. So whenever you're doing your windups, focus on flexing your glutes a little bit, helping to keep your core tight and stacked in that strong position. This is going to be the base for every backside spin, so go and keep working on it and keep dialing it in on and off the slopes. Next up is snap. You're trying to go and keep your snap on a consistent plane of rotation, making sure that you're not throwing down or up, continuing your spot in a smooth, constant line. Next is timing. You want to be going and hitting a neutral position as your nose reaches the end of the takeoff. The bigger your backside spins, the more you'll then go and extend that motion, but for a back free, you'll just be going and pulling that position and popping off that last little bit. Another super important step for your backside spins is your spot. It can feel really natural to spot looking over your shoulder, but this will go and make you extend your torso, throwing you off balance and losing your stability. It also makes it so you don't see the knuckle as soon. But by shifting your gaze to underneath your arm, you're going to be able to keep your body stacked in a tight position, spot the knuckle sooner, allowing you to go and control the rotation and know what's going on sooner than an over the shoulder spot. On any backside spin, make sure your spot is underneath your back arm. Lastly is landings. You always want to be landing in your stacked position with the weight set over the balls of your feet. This will let you go and absorb the impact of the jump in the most efficient way. And it's also crucial for going and then moving on to bigger tricks in the future. We call this finishing the trick. A good way to practice these principles is on a trampoline. Just like on a jump, when you're on a trampoline, you want to make sure you have good controlled bounces before going and adding rotation. After that, try to hit the same 4 key points: your wind up, your snap, your spot, and your landing. By practicing these 4 points on trampoline, you'll have a lot more success when bringing them back over to snow. With those skills in place, the next stage to improve this is bringing your leg to your body. Bringing your legs up is an important part of every trick on a snowboard. You're aiming to start bringing your legs up after your full extension. If you cut your extension short, you'll lose control and power. The right extension will bring your legs up right to you, but too little or too much will disconnect your body, making it so you have to use your muscles instead of the momentum of a jump to bring your legs up. I'd recommend not grabbing your snowboard when practicing your backside 360s, because reaching to grab your snowboard early can make it so you don't do your full extension, making it so it's harder to bring your legs up in the long run. If you decide you need to grab your snowboard, I recommend using the mute/wettle grab. This is the best grab for practicing your backside spin and will be super useful once we move on to backside 720s later on in the series. With both skills in place, it's time to start bringing this trick to the slopes, starting with your setup carve. A textbook setup carve has you approaching the jump on your heel edge, transitioning to your toe edge as you pass the spoon of the jump, holding a straight line off the takeoff until your tail snaps off the end. Setup carves are a super flexible motion, but there is a few things you're trying to achieve with every setup carve. First, a stacked body position. Second, a straight takeoff. Third, edge pressure. Fourth, timing. Your stacked body position is the base for all tricks. A straight takeoff removes drifting, giving you better control and less chance to hit the knuckle. Edge pressure lets you not catch an edge. Timing lets you leave off your tail, getting maximum power. The main mistake you can make on your setup carve is breaking at the waist. Breaking at the waist refers to losing your stack position and crumpling at the hips. This can be caused by a few things, most commonly getting on your toe edge much too soon. The longer you hold your toe edge, the harder it will be to hold your strong, tall body position, making it more likely you start to lean forward, resulting in breaking at the waist. Setup carves are one of the things you really want to get in place before going off the jump. A great way to practice this is just on the slope. Find a super mellow pitch slope, be it a cat track or a green run, and practice your setup carve, trying to hit the 4 key points: your stacked body position, a straight takeoff, edge pressure, and timing. Those are the 4 main points you're trying to improve when doing this training exercise. With those in place, it's time to get spinning. The first backside 360 you can do is just traversing across the slope. To do this, get on your toe edge going along the slope, then hop a 360. You're trying to hold your stack position and hit the 4 key point: wind up, snap, spot, landing. You want to get these 360s to a point where you can land stacked and continue the traverse along the slope. When doing this traverse, it's important to not be putting too much pressure into your edge, causing you to carve back up the hill. You want slight edge pressure that lets you grip the snow but doesn't start turning you upwards. If you're struggling with maintaining that constant edge pressure and you're digging in and going up the hill, practice holding your edge pressure just on a downward slope. Find a run where you feel comfortable holding a straight line and just practice getting on your toe edge, trying to hold that little bit of edge pressure but without digging in and starting to turn. The next stage is doing your backside 360s and going downhill. This is actually way harder than doing a backside 360 off a jump, but it will teach you how to maintain your edge pressure while generating your windup and snap in an uncomfortable position. What's going to pay massive dividends when you go to take your backside 360s off a park jump. You're trying to hit with 5 key points: setup, wind up, snap, spot, landing. You want your tail to be the last part of your board making contact on the snow. Actively making sure that you're leaving off your tail will drastically increase the amount of snap and torque you can get off your snowboard. These steps will take a little bit of time to master, so I'd recommend just spreading them out through a season of riding. Instead of just going up on the mountain and spending all day grinding it, just do a few 360s when getting off the chair, heading to the park, just adding them in where you can. These are the fundamental skills you'll be using on every backside spin. Even now, I like to use these backside 360s when I'm feeling nervous about doing like a dub back 10, a back 7, you name it. If I'm feeling nervous about my backside form, I go back to these steps and dial them in because I'm confident if I can perform those well, I'll be able to translate that to off the jump. Now that we have all those in place, it's time to take your backside 360 to a jump. The ideal jump is the smallest jump you can find. Rail takeoffs work great for this, but if you're utilizing a rail takeoff in your training, make sure that you're not getting in anyone's way. The rail takeoffs are primarily used for the rails, so do not be taken off at a spot that would go and get in front of someone that's hitting the rail or negatively impact the feature of riding. During this step, you'll be trying to hit the same 5 key points: setup, wind up, snap, spot, landing. When hitting a jump, speed becomes a factor, so make sure you got the speed of whatever jump you're hitting truly dialed in with your straight airs before ever attempting a spin off it. You're trying to avoid drifting, breaking at the waist, and spotting over your shoulder, with the end goal being a constant smooth rotation, landing you in your stacked position. That means landing in on the balls of your feet, completely rotated with your lower and upper body. We call this finishing the trick. and you'll want to be able to finish your backside 360 before moving on to bigger features or bigger spins. Not every one of your 360s will let you finish in a stacked position, resulting in a heel edge landing. A heel edge landing is when you go and land with your pressure on your heels. This can be caused by under-rotating, having the wrong axis of rotation, and many other little things. Landing on the heels itself isn't a significant issue, but it's a great indication that something went slightly wrong at some point during the rotation. A few things that commonly cause heel edge landings are breaking at the waist off the takeoff. This sets you unbalanced and makes your spins harder to control. Not being confident with the speed of the jump. This can lead to under-rotating, and whenever you under-rotate a back 3, 7, 10, etc., you need to land on your heels to not catch your toe edge. These mistakes all have the trend of being dictated by your takeoff, and that's why it's so important to build up your fundamentals and get a strong stack position off your takeoff and with your snaps. After you have all these sets in place, it's time to find a proper size jump. I'd recommend anywhere from 5 feet to 10 feet, but it really depends on what jumps you have at your local resort. One of the most important things you're looking for is making sure the jump doesn't have too much kick. Kick on a jump refers to that last bit of oomph at the lip. A little bit of kick is nice because it'll help throw your legs up to you and give you more power of your rotation. But too much kick will want to break you at the waist, causing you to go and spin out and cause these mistakes that we've been going over. That's why a kicky jump is one of the #1 enemies of learning backside spins. The two biggest risks you're taking when hitting a jump are hitting the knuckle and going too deep. That's why it's super crucial to lock in your straight airs and get really comfortable with the jump you're hitting before trying to spin it. After getting a feel for the jump, all you need to do is apply the skills we've been working on in this video to the jump itself. The bigger the jump, the more you will need to slow down your motion and snap because you'll have more airtime you need to control. But other than that, the fundamental principles are exactly the same. For your setup carve, you want to switch from your heel edge to your toe edge at the bottom of the jump, holding your eyes on the takeoff. As your board starts to leave the lip, your upper body should be close to a stacked position, finishing your snap as your tail leaves the takeoff, hopefully resulting in your first proper backside 360. Backside 360s are the base for every single backside spin, so it's really important to take the time and dial them in, making sure you got your strong takeoff, your strong snap, and just overall the complete package. Because if you can lock in a perfect backside 360, it's going to make every single backside spin so much easier in the future. This is the trick I go and practice the most and use to refine my form, and I highly suggest you do the same if you have ambitions of doing 540s and beyond. What to look for. You want to have a straight line off the takeoff, a stacked body position leaving the lip. Under the shoulder spot, finish the trick with your stacked landing position. You might be asking yourself how to know when you're ready to move on to a bigger jump, a bigger trick, or why your backside 360s aren't working. This is a very complex issue that has many different factors playing into it. That's why I'm so stoked we have something called Addiction Plus. Addiction Plus is our online coaching program where you have access to amazing training tools. You can go and submit videos to our video analysis. Video analysis lets you go and send a clip of your trick, and we'll break down what works and what doesn't work. If you're breaking up the waist, if you're going to your edge too soon, we will spot that and we'll give you the feedback, letting you know what to work on and what to improve to take your spins to the next level. We also have something called live coaching, what has the same things as video analysis, but we also do a live training session and talk to you directly. So you can submit your clips there and we can give you real-time, back-to-back feedback. Both of these tools are absolutely amazing and crucial for going and taking your riding to the next level. So if you're struggling with your spins or you want to know how you can take your riding to the next level, I highly recommend checking out Addiction Plus. You can sign up now for a 1-month free trial, but even after that, it's as affordable as possible. We try to make it to help as many riders as possible, and I truly feel like it's the best tool in the market for you to improve your riding. In order to know when it's time to do backside 360s off bigger jumps, there's only one thing you can do, and that's trust yourself. You want to do so many backside 360s, there's no doubt in your mind that you can do it off a bigger jump or a harder feature or anywhere on the mountain. This is the fundamental snowboarding trick. So by locking it in and building yourself and building your confidence on it, you'll have an amazing platform to go and try future tricks and bring it to all other features. That doesn't mean it's not going to be scary to bring your backside 360s to a new feature for the first time. I'm often scared when I'm trying new tricks. Scared but confident is my vibe. What I like to do is break it down. Are my takeoffs good? Am I feeling in control in the air? Am I landing clean and in my stack position? Once you get all the fundamentals we cover in this video in place and have a strong backside 360, it's going to be time to start pushing yourself and expanding, because with the backside 360, your backside fundamentals will be strong, allowing you to go and push your progression faster than ever before in a safe, efficient way. I'm Taevis with Snowboard Addiction, and our goal is to improve your riding.